Hello, Giants fans. Welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. The Giants lost to the Dodgers yesterday 9-6, and this particular loss is a game that just had to be won. I mean, it really drives me crazy. They not only lost last night, but it dropped them one game behind the Phillies and Cardinals for the final National League wildcard spot. There's still time to catch up on that, and it's not like it's September. It's only July. But yesterday's loss still was just on the cuff of something real big. It feels like you're going real big in one direction or another, for better or for worse. But they lost 9-6, and Carlos Rodon pitched yesterday instead of the All-Star game. Rodon pitched against the Dodgers yesterday. That's when I would have far preferred to have him pitch, but he just was not his best. He gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. Now, we're going to talk about how 2 of them scored in just a moment. But I was hoping we'd have a bit better than that from our all-star pitcher, especially against the Dodgers here. But right after the All-Star game, he came back and he just didn't pitch very well for an all-star. But in the 3rd inning, Justin Turner had a double on a fly ball off Rodon. But this fly ball, it was like it should have gone to Luis Gonzalez. But the game report on sfgiants.com said it was a fly ball that Gonzalez lost in the twilight, and it got down for a double for Turner to give the Dodgers 2 runs. Now, let me ask this question, if I may. How in the world do you lose a fly ball in the twilight? Because they have lights on at the ballpark, and I guess if you're looking up just kind of at the wrong angle, that could be an issue for you. But it is far more common to lose a ball in the sun during a day game. The sun had gone down there at Dodger Stadium for the game last night, but what I've heard more commonly happens is that outfielders have an issue with the sun during a day game and they lose a ball that way. But this time, the claim that's being made is that it happened just the opposite way and that Luis Gonzalez lost the ball in the night, in the darkness. Which is just, it's counterintuitive compared to how I've heard losing balls explained. Because there are lights on at the ballpark. It just seems crazy to me. But I'm not blaming Gonzalez for that one. If he really couldn't see the ball at the angle it was hit, then I guess he really couldn't. I personally don't get it. You hear a lot about losing balls in the sun, and now this time it's, oh yeah, now we get just the opposite. It's all dark, sun's gone down, you're playing in the night, and you lose a ball because it's too dark to see. So I don't get it, but if it really happened and Gonzalez did make his best effort, then I guess that's how it was. But 5 runs came in. Then Junior Marte came in and pitched a scoreless 6th inning for the Giants. Evan Longoria had a home run in the 7th. Then the Giants loaded the bases, and they did an unbelievable comeback. Darren Ruff hit a grand slam to tie the game at 5. So that was a huge comeback effort from the Giants to get from being behind 5-0 to being tied 5-5. And they're coming off a hot offensive streak too, where they've scored a lot of runs. I think they're averaging per game. In this one, they hadn't even gotten things going early. They had been behind 5-0. Then it was 2 key home runs, Evan Longoria's and Darren Ruff's first career grand slam to tie the game at 5 in the 7th inning. John Brebbia got 2 outs, then gave up a double, but he got out of trouble in the bottom of the 7th inning. And then in the top of the 8th, the Giants added on by loading the bases. Now here's what I'm talking about when I'm saying, okay, you just gotta do something, put the ball in play, get on base, and something might happen, and something did happen. Thairo Estrada, he didn't have a hit or even a sacrifice to get the run home. With the bases loaded, Estrada walked to put the Giants ahead 6-5. That's another of those times it benefits to just do something in an inning as opposed to everybody striking out or weakly grounding out or whatever. The inning before, it was the power. In the top of the 8th inning, it was the walk. So the Giants had a 6-5 lead. It should have been a win. They didn't hold on to it. Dominic Leone came to pitch the 8th inning. He got 2 outs, but he also gave up with a runner on first base. I think it was a runner on first base. He gave up a game-tying triple to Trace Thompson to tie the game at 6. And with 2 outs, Trace Thompson on third, manager Gabe Kapler took Leone out and summoned Harleen Garcia to come in. Garcia walked Bellinger. Then he gave up a 3-run home run to Mookie Betts to put the Dodgers ahead for the final time, 9-6. That is where it went wrong, because Harleen Garcia gave up a home run. It was a changeup right down the middle of a plate that Betts hit real hard. So pitching in the clutch is every bit as essential as hitting in the clutch is, and the Giants couldn't do that this time. Now, with Leone having to come out with the lefty Bellinger at the plate, and Garcia was coming in to face Bellinger, but was he the only option? No. I mean, this would be one of the most unique opportunities all year for the Giants, having had 3 straight off days, to bring in Camilo Doval for a 4-out save. And it's not like we're asking for a 6-out save either. It would just be a 4-out save. The drawback to that, of course, is that from Kapler's perspective, Garcia would be the lefty-on-lefty to face Bellinger. After he walked Bellinger, if there were no 3-batter minimum rule, I'd say Garcia's out, you go to Doval. But there's the crazy 3-batter minimum rule. So, of course, Garcia had to stay in and face Betts. So if Doval was coming in for a 4-out save, it would have had to happen like right after Kapler decided to take Leone out. And I know he specifically decided to take him out because a lefty was at the plate. So that'd be one question. With lefty Bellinger at the plate, then right-hander Mookie Betts coming up next, would it have been better to bring Camilo Doval in for a 4-out save? And, of course, Doval could have intentionally walked Bellinger. That's the other option. That's the question. Would it have been better? Now I'd rather have given Doval a shot at a 4-out save. And, yeah, probably having him walk Bellinger, too, and face the right-hander Betts. Because Garcia, he didn't do it this time, although he's pitched pretty well for the Giants all year. And at the trade deadline, I would really love to see the Giants acquire Juan Soto. That is my opinion. I've talked about this before, but my opinion is I would really love to have the Giants acquire him. And if they have to trade future prospects, we'll deal with that later, because there are ways to deal with it. Now, the question after seeing a game like last night becomes kind of tight. Do the Giants actually need more bullpen help? A game they really should have won, and they had 2 outs, and Garcia gives up the 3-run homer. It's like the fundamental question there is, do the Giants really need more bullpen help at the trade deadline? And I mentioned the possibility of Doval getting a multi-inning save, but they're also going to need high-leverage arms who can pitch well. I mean the other option, and I mean pitch well in the clutch too. Not just that, but pitch well to the game's best hitters. That's what I mean. Mookie Betts is one of the game's best hitters. Didn't check his stats this year, but he just has been over the last few. So they need pitchers, starters and relievers who can pitch well to the game's best hitters in the game's toughest situations. That's why I'm asking, do they need more relief at the trade deadline? Well, the good news is Trevor Rosenthal is joining the Giants on a 1-year deal. So if he can fill in that gap, anything, well, we're glad to have him. So we'll see if Trevor Rosenthal helps to take care of any of that. I can't wait for him to be done being on the injured list and to be able to join the Giants. Of course, the other option they had in that 8th inning was to bring in Tyler Rogers to face Bellinger, because Rogers is at least equal against left-handed hitters to what he is against righties. I mean, the sample that I've heard about from Rogers, I think he can get lefties out very well. His strategy against them, at least originally, was to throw up and in. So would he have been able to use that against Bellinger? Or even if it had the same marginal result walking Bellinger, Rogers would have a fair chance, I would think, against Mookie Betts. Although, I guess I understand what we mean when we talk about Rogers is, yeah, he does pitch better to left-handed hitters. So this game, I'm not judging Jarlin Garcia's performance in high-leverage situations by this one outing, but it was a pretty important one. So I'm glad the Giants have added something to their bullpen, and yeah, like I said, there are questions you could ask about what the best option for the 8th inning here really was for the Giants. If I would say if not Garcia, then Camilo Doval with a walk, an intentional walk to Cody Bellinger. I think that's really the thing here. If it somehow could have been determined that would be more likely to give a better result than to bring in Garcia at that point, which Garcia's pitched pretty well for the Giants in the normal situations this year, so it would have been hard to know. But this loss is just, it's got to change. It's got to change, man. The Giants do have 3 more games against the Dodgers here. And I will say again, at the trade deadline, if their bullpen does turn out to be sufficient and they could acquire Juan Soto, or if they could possibly acquire Soto and one other reliever maybe. But that is going to be kind of hard to do, because they not only would they have to trade a lot, but I've even heard from multiple sources that the Giants, to get Soto, could have to trade maybe 1 or 2 of their young players who's already on the major league roster, and Doval was one of the names I heard brought up at least, twice. I heard from various sources Doval's name twice brought up on these were a couple of KNBR shows I was listening to. They think the Giants could have to trade Doval to get Soto. I would like them to be able to get Soto by trading maybe a couple of other guys, not him. Certainly not Logan Webb. I mean, they need him right now. I think the bullpen, the gap between Doval and some of the other relievers, it might be large enough right now that he adds something to the team they just can't get rid of, because who would have thought we'd be talking very soon about bringing him in for a 4-inning save, but that's what we were talking about. I mean very soon after hearing talk about trading Doval, because the Giants bullpen can manage, but now we were talking about what if they had brought him in for a 4-inning save. Wouldn't want to get rid of him, but if they could get Juan Soto somehow and make up a lot of the difference with him by trading minor league prospects, that would be a great thing, I think, for them, because they need that help. So they got another chance to play the Dodgers today, then again on Saturday and Sunday. Logan Webb should get a start at some point in this weekend series. We'll see how it goes. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Please subscribe. We get closer into this wild card race. Please subscribe if you have not. Also, you can email me, GabrielVaughn89@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.